Sexual harassment accusations in Hollywood are not for attention or publicity, because that makes zero logical sense. None of these people who are coming forward are getting their careers advanced by this. No director is reading an article like, "This chick had to watch James Toback cum in his pants? I should put her in my next movie." When an office secretary files an HR complaint against her boss, do you think that scenario ends with her getting a promotion? When the movers and shakers of the business start moving and shaking very inappropriately towards people whose livelihoods depend on them, it is not a smart career move to bite the hand that feeds you and pleasures itself in front of you. At best, it would be mutually assured destruction. Therefore, there's no reason to lie about harassment or assault, at least from within Hollywood. On the other hand, when you have bitches coming out of nowhere outside show business saying shit like, "Oh, I met Drake at a bar before he was famous 20 years ago. Long story short, I want child support for this teenager that's totally his son," those are the kind of fame whores that discredit the actual true allegations people have. "I want to sue Ed Sheeran because he punched me in the face at Bonnaroo in 1976. No, he didn't. Get out of here. I 100% believe that Bill Cosby's rapist AF because some of those women work in Hollywood. If none of them did, I'd be much more on the fence. But victims who currently work in show business have no reason to lie and every reason to remain silent. If we're talking about people who used to work in Hollywood but have failed careers, then it's a little dicier. But again, those people don't see a resurgence in pop culture as actresses, they are seen as victims and accusers. Casting directors are not scanning gossip magazines for leading ladies, okay? That's fucking ridiculous. That said, I think Hollywood needs some new rules, and you're not gonna like all of them. Rule 1, if you're gonna disclose an incident where you were harassed or assaulted or mildly flirted with, can you maybe not wait 30 years to say something? One-on-one accusations specifically desperately should have this rule. Cases where the only people in on it are the supposed victim versus the supposed perpetrator, and it's your word against theirs. Say something soon. Now, if it's like the Weinstein shit where various people knew about it the whole time, so much as to even make accommodations for it in his contract, then you don't need a statute of limitations because you have hard evidence and witnesses. But this attitude of, "Oh, I'll just write about it in a vignette when I'm 70, is not going to change anything. The issue is people don't speak up because they're afraid of losing their careers or of being labeled for the rest of their lives. Yeah, you might. But you don't get to decide your career is more important than your truth in the moment and then reverse that decision years later when you've already succeeded. That's a real flexible burden you're carrying, and I don't buy it. "I think my heart will be at its heaviest after I star in a box office juggernaut." If you choose success, you forfeit your trauma. That's how it should be. I don't feel sorry for you if you chose to stay quiet in pursuit of fame. That's a calculated decision you made every day you didn't say anything. Hashtag victim blaming? Here's a factual notion. Sometimes victims are to blame. When a lemming falls off a cliff, do you get mad at the cliff for being a cliff? People are stupid all the time, and just because they die while they're being stupid doesn't mean they're retroactively not stupid. Like Americans going to North Korea. If you go on an international nonsense trip to a country we're texting back and forth with on nuclear war, blame yourself when you're a political prisoner. I hope they accidentally torture you too much and you die in agony. You're a fucking idiot and one less tool to be used against us for bartering. "But I really wanted to make a documentary that exposes all kinds of information we already know." Jesus. The idea that there's no such thing as bad publicity is a gigantic myth. Take ISIS, for example. When the media talks about ISIS, it's generally unfavorable coverage, wouldn't you say? Now, it's true that all that attention has increased its ranks more so than what anonymity/obscurity would have done, but keep in mind that news channels have also increased the amount of ISIS combatants that have been blown the fuck up in drone strikes. It's bad publicity when being shown to the world causes major countries to target you with explosives. I think you'd rather have avoided that. But on the other side of the spectrum, going back to this Hollywood interactions thing, while it is important to make your voice heard in regard to outright crimes, like instances of assault, there's no point in unearthing your own history to tweet about that time a celebrity was mean to you once. That should not be taken with the caliber of seriousness that is being applied to the real problems. It's gossip. It goes in a wacky speech bubble font on the front page of a magazine you glance at while you're waiting for someone to bag your groceries. That kind of shit is for attention. It's to smear the name of someone you don't like, and it's dumb. I'm not saying you can't talk about experiences like that, but don't do it with the Me Too hashtag like getting made fun of is equivalent to being raped. Speaking of, about a year ago, I made a joke on my Sacrilegious Freedom channel about Kevin Spacey being a gay rapist, so it ain't just Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy that can foreshadow shit. I'm trying to think of how I can continue to enjoy Kevin Spacey as an actor after this new information has come out that he made an advance on a 14-year-old boy in 1986, and I think what I'll do is just not be a teenager 30 years ago. That should erase my stake in the matter pretty effectively if I had to guess. I mean, the odds of me ever wanting to hire him as my babysitter have plummeted, but I live too far away for him to hoist me onto a bed, so I believe I am safe in that regard. But yeah, we should definitely no longer like movies he's in that we previously liked very much, because that accomplishes something. I don't get this idea that Hollywood people who are found to have engaged in sexual misconduct should lose their Oscars or give back their awards. Unless the awards they received were for a pristine record of not trying to fuck young Broadway boys, I don't think it's relevant. They're excellent at their jobs and deserve accolades that acknowledge it. That said, I watched Baby Driver a few days ago, and now I think that movie's about something else. At least now I don't ever have to talk about this subject again, since we're definitely not on the precipice of total war on Hollywood with another avalanche of allegations about to hit the big time. Pretty one note on this video, but that's gonna do it for it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.